The views on this program do not reflect those of ONTV or its board of directors. Welcome to Oaa Now, your home for Oakland Activities Association news and information. Here's your host, Sammy Taramina.
Welcome to Oaa Now. I'm Sammy Taramina, blogger, the Dragon's Den, blogger of Inside the OAA, and one of the hosts between to me is on Orion Neighborhood Television. I'd like to welcome our good folks watching on SoundCloud and the local voice, and also those on ONTV and on YouTube. I got Ian Locke this week.
What's up, Sam?
Yep. Happy 4th of July.
Oh, boy. Can you believe it's the 4th already, my man?
Got Kent back here. Happy 4th of July.
Thanks for running
to
the board again, Kent. Doing
You're
a nice
welcome.
job.
And thank you. Happy 4th to you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Third.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe. Can you believe it's that time? I always thought the 4th of July is like the middle of summer.
Well, technically, it is a dead period for the MHSAA.
Well, true.
It really is.
I was thinking of eating hot dogs and beans and potato salad, but yeah, if we're talking
I'm
sports,
not a big
you're right.
fan of beans. I'm really not a big fan of beans.
Get out of town.
No, I mean I'm a fan of burgers and dogs. I mean,
You're not a bean guy.
no, I
Hey.
am not.
I'll make you some.
No, you're
Because
not.
I doctor them up, buddy.
No, you're
they're,
not.
They're not just out of the can.
No, you're not.
I zip them up. You cannot
No,
go
you're
around. That's
not.
my mom's famous recipe.
No, you're not. All right.
Come on.
We got a lot to talk about today here on the pod. Of course, Ferndale adding 4 new transfers. Got to talk about this. But also we got a big story out of Grosse Pointe North that's not only making headlines, but also around the Detroit area. Of course, that's what we're going to talk about today. And of course, this thing called coup d'etat, and I think there's been
A military overthrow of the government?
yeah, technically, sort of like that.
I can't wait to hear the
That's
details.
what occurred at Grosse Pointe North.
Do tell, Sam.
There's 2 sides of the story here.
I'm guessing this is a sports slang insteed of an actual political military.
Well, I think he's using it in the same
It's
instance.
using the same instance,
Yeah.
okay? It's using the same instance.
All
but
right,
anyway,
spill the details. What's the details?
Frank Sombura, he is out at Grosse Pointe North. Of course, he
Baseball?
He coached football and baseball
Okay.
at Grosse Pointe North. He's been coaching football for 49 years, and has been the head baseball coach since 1973.
Oh, my.
So
well established, ingrained in the community, been there a while.
and there's really 2 sides of the story here. There's one side saying that Sombrero retired, but Sombrero saying is the word coup d'etat. And
He says this.
yeah, he's saying because they forced him out. The
What
administration
a drama
for
queen.
well, we
I don't know,
don't.
drama. I mean, if you've been well established as a coach,
Well, we don't know the story here. We really don't know the story. This is what Sombrero said. He said, quote, "They terminated me as football and baseball coach, and they said some parents on the baseball team that I said was giving boys mental English and not treating them fairly, putting them supposedly in an unsafe environment, which I don't know what that even means." So this opens up a couple debate questions. This really does. The word mental English, the word entitlement, and basically,
Anguish.
yeah, that's what he's saying. Now I listened to, I believe it was on 97.1 Ticket, and they said
They were chatting about this, too?
They were chatting about this.
Wow.
They were chatting about this, and I think and I'm looking at. There's 2 sides to every story to this. There's always
Usually.
been usually to it, but to me, this looks like to me was a perfect example of parents complaining to the staff and basically saying that we are not
They're not happy with what's
they're
going
not
on.
happy with what's going on. So
So,
you being a parent, you know what I mean?
well, yes, I know where the question's going.
Mhm.
I have experienced this, not at high school level, but club level soccer.
Mhm.
I've been through this. Now, there was my daughter played travel soccer. I'm not going to say the club, but it's a
No.
local club. And the team now this is U8,
Right.
8-year-olds,
Right.
U9, right? and the team was loaded with talent. I mean, they were very, very good. And, the girls are now high school age now, and some of them are just top notch. I mean, really top players. So here you have a coach with a lot of talent and teaching them the way he knows how to do it. He's a decent coach, was doing everything right, working with the girls. The elite players of the team, as they saw themselves, said, hey, he's not doing enough job to challenge these kids. We need him gone. Though he was working with the younger kids, doing a great job, nobody had a problem. You had a small portion of them that didn't like him and wanted him gone. And so they tried to get him gone, right? And fortunately for my daughter, they left. The people who were complaining and were disgruntled left the club. And my daughter and the other girls stayed, but it almost destroyed the team. So we've been through this. I think the parents are it's ridiculous. It's like, let the coach do what he does. He's in there for a reason. He's hired for a reason. And just shut your mouth and let it go. Like we said before, Sam, not everybody's a D1 candidate.
No.
They're all not going to go to
D1 schools.
D1 schools
and I did that
get
last
full
week.
rides and all that.
It last
exactly.
Week. You know what I mean?
And it's a similar thing.
It's very similar because when you look at okay, I want a coach in there that coaches me up. You know what I mean? That toughens, that gets us, ready. That gets us not only built for this year, but for the you want to have your enjoyable moments, but you also got to know the expectation.
Yes.
And the expectation there is, if you want to win a state championship, you want to win state championship, then you all have to be on the same page.
Yes.
And if you're not on the same page, then this type of disgruntulation gets to you.
Yes,
and it does.
And it tears apart the fabric of the team because you're not going to all be in lockstep unless you have a coach that has done something so egregious that, it's logical that they need to go, correct?
Right.
But it'll just destroy the camaraderie. And what have we seen about championship teams? They've all had great chemistry.
They've all had great chemistry.
If that chemistry is shot,
then you're going down for a little bit.
Exactly. It's no good.
And I think,
and that's all levels. That's from high school on up to pro levels. We've seen it repeated time and time again.
I mean, when you look at, and I look at the, Sombara said more in the interview here with Perry Farrell of the Detroit News. He said that this is what happened. I was in a meeting with them at 9 o'clock Wednesday morning, and Kate Murray, the principal, was there with athletic director Michelle Davis and the human resource person, Nicole Pilgrim. They told me as of June 27th that I was being terminated as a head football and baseball coach, and I go, what? Are you kidding me? They said they did this investigation amongst some players and parents, wrote letters, asking to get rid of me. I asked how many.
They had letters?
They wrote letters. And
unanimous?
Said, I don't know. And I asked them how many of the other parents you talked to, and they said they couldn't give me any information. They wouldn't show me the letters. I just don't understand it.
That's how you know someone's gotten really, really mad. They don't send an angry email. They go through all the formal steps to go to the trouble to let you know the depths of their frustration.
That's true, but it's kind of, I don't know, screwy to not at least share or give you a number. Because it could be one, it could, did they show you the evidence? You should at least be able to see it.
You got to at least, and I think,
or get a chance to address the problems.
I think this is very fishy what's going on there. Now, Grosse Pointe North did issue a statement. On June 27, 2018, Principal Caitlin C. Murray sent an email to North varsity baseball and football parents and players. Starting today, we received notice of the retirement of Grosse Pointe North High School head baseball and head football coach Frank Sombara, effective June 29, 2018. We understand that transition plans have been made. The coaching staff has been notified. Michelle Davis, our Grosse Pointe North high school athletic director and assistant principal, will keep baseball and football parents and families informed as we move forward. Frank Samburra has been the head of our varsity baseball and football program for nearly 50 years. His dedication to the Growth Point North High School student athletes, assistant coaches, and community will long be his legacy. We want to thank Frank for his years of service and wish him the best in his retirement.
Yeah.
This is interesting.
When you fumbled the line, I just had a thought. Now, wouldn't it be something to have Frank Sinatra as your high school sports coach?
I messed up there.
Well, then you'd have the mafia on your side, so you'd always win.
Well, but here's the thing: if you want to win a game, you got it. He says you got to do it my way.
Okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't resist.
I know. That is a softball floating out there.
But
Sam, don't you see? I mean, we've seen this before with other coaches who've been around a long time.
We've seen this.
And the coach isn't ready to step down.
Right.
The admin says it's about time, or they say any grievance will be seen as, see, it's time to go.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of giving the coach a chance to correct it.
But we're living in a dangerous time right now. We're living in a really dangerous time.
I don't know about dangerous, but just odd, just weirdness going on.
It's odd. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To see somebody at this statue, that. And the parents say it was mental, and the letters say
it was mental. The parents are saying it's mental?
No, I don't know who's saying it. I take my words back here.
Okay, because I thought it was the coach was saying, hey, this is mental anguish because I didn't retire. They told me to take a hike.
Right, that's basically
That's a completely different... That's a different story.
But I know that...
Who's telling the truth?
That's the question. We don't know. We don't know who's telling the truth. I mean,
and these sorts of things can expose a school district to some, I'm not going to say
liability.
Yes, because if you have an age of somebody, unless you have evidence of malfeasance or whatever, and I don't know what the contract is and that sort of thing.
I don't know that either.
Could they look at age discrimination? Could they look at wrongful termination?
I don't think it's age
unless
discrimination.
It's at will. You can be fired at any time for any reason, which is out there.
Yeah. But when you look at a lot of alumni have really defended this coach. Really defended Samburra.
He's been there almost 50 years.
Been there 50 years.
He's got communities of alums.
He's got, and I know a lot of former players were shocked at the news that he resigned.
Quotes. Should you throw that in quotes?
Yeah, that he. I think it's
retired.
Either he quote retired, but I think that to me this looks like it was forced out. I mean, now I've seen. This guy is in the MHSAA Hall of Fame of coaches.
Yeah.
And to me, this...
Can you imagine them doing this at Harrison? Can you imagine?
No. Yeah, with Harrington?
Yeah. No. Can you imagine?
No. Because John Harrington...
I mean, yeah, he's like the all-time.
He's the all-time state winning
He's got stacks of state titles.
Yep. And let me tell you what. He's an honest, honorable man, John Harrington is. He is one of the nicest guys in the entire state of Michigan.
But I mean... To force somebody out just because a couple complaints, you're always going to get complaints.
You're always going
right? Because, like you said, you're not going to get 100% approval especially like you said, odd times, because you have players coming in with a false sense of, I'll say, well, you said entitlement, and I agree with that. That like, hey, I'm the best, I should be the starter. The inflated egos is rampant around high school sports, and it's fed by the parents.
It bothers me because. What are we parents teaching our kids these days? I mean, you look at you got to earn it through hard work and dedication. You got to earn it. You have to earn it. And
that's the whole foundation of sports.
That's the whole foundation of sports.
Sports, you work hard at it, but it also teaches you life lessons that you take with you for the rest of your life. Correct?
You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's what it's supposed to be.
Correct.
But
and what are they learning by going, hey, I don't like you, get rid of them?
Yeah, what are you learning? You know what I mean? You're learning. It's like when you're at the workforce, you know what I mean? When you're working, when you don't like a boss, you know what I mean? When you don't like a boss,
you can't go to your parents and say, I don't like the boss.
You can't go to your parents and force your boss to go. Force your boss to leave.
But the scary thing is, I've heard instances of adult college grads having their parents go in and complain that they didn't get a raise. I'm not kidding.
That's ridiculous.
I mean, that is a thing.
That's ridiculous.
Yes, and then the college grads actually learn a lesson because they definitely don't get the job, or they just plain get fired because the boss isn't having any of that.
No, not at all.
No.
I mean, and what did? Oh my! And it can mess your career up for a long term. I mean,
and I'm thinking, that's what I'm saying here. I mean, like, and I'm asking, if I'm a student, you know what I mean, and I don't like what the coach is doing, you know, this is what I say: please don't go to your parents. You know, please don't go to your parents. I mean, like, because you're only making the situation much worse.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, and it's tough enough. You know what I mean? I know there's a lot of stress on a high school coach. It's very stressful. You know what I mean?
I can't imagine.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, and if you don't like the system, you know, that you're in, you know, there's always options, but, you know, but there are risks to them. You know what I mean?
Well, we've seen that over our discussions over the last several months. I mean, last 7 months,
7
right?
months, yes.
Referring to basketball transfers.
Yeah, we're going to refer to that in a couple minutes.
Yeah, and that's coming up again. But
yes, but I think
adversity is not a bad thing.
No.
Not agreeing with somebody is not a bad thing, but you have to be able to work with those who you don't necessarily like or agree with. You know, unless there's some sort of, like I said, obvious malfeasance or inappropriate actions or whatever.
We don't know what happened here at Grosse Pointe North. We really don't know what the ramifications are, you know what I mean, about
or how it came about.
How it came about, you know, or like if like a coach said a negative thing.
Yeah.
Or we don't know that. I mean, like, to me, this is you know,
it sounds like the administration was ready to move on. They tried to do it in a subtle way, but said, well, we have to have a reason. So they got the reason. That's what it feels like. Right? I mean, at least that's what it's printed.
That's what it's printed.
And the coach says, I'm not interested.
That's what it's printed. When you look at the situation, how that's unfolded. Either way, my thoughts on this was, you know, when I read it, it reminded me, and I used the word coup d'etat for a reason, because it's like you look at the French Revolution and basically how that was unfolded, what they did to King Louis. But to me, you know, but this does leave some ramifications. You know what I mean? What does this happen?
Yeah, especially for the incoming coach.
Mm-hmm.
And didn't they say they have things in line already?
They said they did, but I'm not sure if I can trust them.
If they said they did, that means maybe they had them in line and said, well, it can get ugly if you do a hire real quick, it seems, because it means you already planning behind the scenes to get them gone and you just need an excuse.
But whatever happened to, you know, coaches leaving, retiring on their own terms? Whatever happened to that?
Were you able to find any information on the record? Like, were they performing at a high level, or was it like
Grosse Pointe North?
Everybody's doing offers and.
Well, Grosse Pointe North did have a good year. They had a really nice year. However, they ran into Grosse Pointe South. Of course, Grosse Pointe South
baseball. You mean?
won the state championship. I mean, Grosse Pointe North in football. I mean, like they were decent. They're not bad. I mean, they improved.
Well, you know who they're going against down there in Macomb
and the MAC. Yeah. I mean, I know what they're going up against. And then, of course, when you get into postseason play, you're dealing with teams in Detroit. Basically, that's going to be very tough and difficult. So
interesting. See. Well, it's not the first time we've heard this sort of thing.
No, it's not,
and it's not going to be the last.
No, it won't be the last that we heard about this. So we'll see what happens going forward. But it was a good conversation. To address on
interesting.
The Grosse Pointe North. There's always two sides to a story on each story. You know what I mean? We know one side.
You almost hate the write-up in the paper sometimes because they only give you just enough nuggets to start going, what's going on?
Yeah, they only ask you for one side.
They leave you hanging.
You know, and then, of course, this debate went on. The 97 won the ticket. You know what I mean?
So what'd they say?
They said, you know.
It was kind of odd?
They had both sides. I mean, they had a young lady. They had a lady that talked about that was behind the scenes,
so somebody who knew
what was going on. Okay. And then they had the other side saying like, I wish I would have a good conversation with her, explain what happened, you know what I mean? So it's kind of was like it's very, very touchy.
Okay.
Well, it's very touchy.
Well, especially if you have somebody who's ingrained in the system for so long. I mean, 50 years of service.
50 years of service. You know what I mean? That's insane.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really insane.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens. We won't do much on it because Grosse Pointe North is in the Macomb area conference, of course. See what happens going forward there.
Well, it's the dead period.
It is. It is. But okay, now we come back. We're going to talk a little summer ball here, summer basketball, and the impact, what's going on at one school here on Oaa Now.
Music, weather, sports, and you.
Me?
Yes, you. You're listening to The Local Voice.
This is Lake Orion's own The Local Voice. Call ONTV and get on air 248-393-1060. Let your voice be heard. Internet radio for all. Call ONTV and get on air.
Welcome back to Oaa Now. I'm Sammy Terramina here with Ian Locke here.
Yo.
Yep. We got some at least some basketball to talk about here in this dead period. It's kind of very odd because but they do have a thing called summer basketball.
To be honest, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they do. They have summer ball.
I guess there's summer everything.
Yes.
Summer hockey.
Yeah. But I do want to talk about some news going around the OAA, of course.
There's a different name for summer hockey.
Well, what's that?
Street hockey.
Street hockey. Yeah, but they're on skates.
They're on skates.
Skates on concrete don't work well. But they do have summer hockey. I've seen it.
But I do want to talk about But I do want to talk about some transfers that made notable names.
Okay. This is you're gonna love it. Our viewers are, we'll call them our listeners. They're gonna love this.
Oh, yeah.
I cracked up just before I went on the air. You gave me little details. It's like this goes right at the heart of the MHSAA and different things that we've been talking about for a while. So hit them with some knowledge, Sam. What is going on? It's kind of crazy.
There are 5 new transfers in the OAA that are well known.
Shocker.
Of course, we remember what's going on around
Yes, remind
Detroit.
us what's happening at Ferndale.
Yep.
So what happened?
Well, remember, Ferndale hired a coach in Juan Rickman.
Yes.
I mean, he came over from East English Village Prep.
Yep, and we thought that was a great hire.
It was, and I still think it's a good hire. I thought it's a good hire. But he brought 4 of his players with him to Ferndale from Detroit East English Village Prep. That they followed their coach to Ferndale. You know what I mean? They followed the coach.
Okay.
So
that goes right at the heart of, did they hire him for that, or they hire him because he's got an entourage in tow?
No, because I think of his proven track record. You know what I mean? I think because of his proven track record.
I know.
But the players that he brought in, of course, Jashawn Moore, Colin Golston, Simon Wheeler, and DeAnthony Hamilton, of course, they're well known, especially in the Detroit area. And they're all transferring up to they all transferred to Ferndale. To join
for what academic reasons? To
join already what was a loaded team when you look at Brian Palozzo, Keelan Lucas, and Tiana McKeaton. And, Ferndale was going to be I thought Ferndale was going to be a good basketball program to start. But now when they just changed their expectations. And, and to me, and I'm reading, there are a lot of people that are furious about this.
What is the difference between this and Kithier?
To me,
nothing.
And I think here,
you think they're just going to sit out, though? They're going to sit out the...
That's a question I don't know.
Because, the rules,
the new rules
refresh
came
our
in
viewers,
place. Yeah,
they came in place, you got to sit out.
They came in place, you got to sit out a year.
A year. So they're coming in really sitting out a year?
They got to come in place and sit out a year. Now, the issue is these 4 that came in...
Yeah, what grade are they?
2 of them are juniors and 2 of them are sophomores.
So they're going to sit out their junior year, the most important year of a high school athlete's career.
That's a question. You know what I mean? That's a question. And if these guys don't sit out of here, then I think we got a problem.
Yes.
Big
then the
problem.
rules mean nothing.
Because then the rules don't mean anything. Because
I mean, the mess that it was, talking about Clarkson's situation.
Yeah, and that was a real mess.
Completely. And it lingered, and it lasted, and it was legal fights and all this stuff. And then the MHSAA said, hey, these are the rules to help combat this.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, okay, great. Now you have guidelines.
Now
right?
you have guidelines.
Clearly defined.
Clearly defined guidelines.
Who's going to...
Who enforces them?
Well, I think there's that.
Who's going to enforce these rules?
But are these... And I don't want to jump to conclusions with the transfers, but it's basketball related. Give me a break.
Mm-hmm. It clearly is. I mean, when you look at...
on paper, it just looks not good.
On paper, it doesn't look good. I mean, like, it really just does not look good. And you look at, of course, another player who transferred out of East English, Tariq Shepard. Yeah, he transferred out from East English to Farmington. And he's going to be playing... And he's a senior.
You have to sit out, right?
Unless you meet the legal residency requirements.
Okay.
You know, unless he moved into the district.
But I thought it was regardless.
I thought that too. I mean, like, but now...
So what changed? I mean, nothing's changed.
Nothing's really changed. And that bothers me. It bothers me because, you know, at the MHSAA spring meetings, what was really said? You know, this was going to be a rule that was going to be enforced. You know, now, if they said this rule was enforced for the 2019-2020 season.
So it's not coming in this
I don't
year.
know if it's coming in this year.
So they're taking advantage of it now.
They're trying to take advantage of it now.
So it's still the Wild West. All the gunslingers are bouncing around.
That's what I'm thinking, but I'm not. I can't, don't quote me on it.
All right. Well, that may be the case.
That might be the case.
So what's the point of having well, I guess you have guys in the middle, but for basketball, for the sports who have concluded, I guess you'd have to take stock. I guess this is the warning.
Yeah.
If you're doing it, you better do it now because you won't be able to do it in the future.
And when you look at other transfers, you know what I mean? But now, do you think...
So if East English Village AD filed a complaint,
I don't think he'll file a complaint.
I mean, nobody does.
But there will be others I know that could file a complaint.
Can they?
I think there will be.
I thought it was the school where the kids were leaving. I don't think anybody else in the league could complain. I mean, could the other teams from the OAA complain, go, look, what the heck?
I think they're, and especially where Ferndale's at.
Yes.
The OAA Blue. The weakest of the three divisions. And
you kind of picked them as a favorite in the blue, right?
Yeah, I kind of did.
Now, do you think they're
do I think? No. Because I think there's a team on Oxford Road that I think is going to give them big problems.
Okay.
And that team, you probably know that team on Oxford Road.
I do.
Because I think that's the team that's going to give Ferndale the biggest problems, the biggest fits in that division.
Right. And I agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
And that hasn't changed.
No, that has not changed. That has not changed my thinking.
But
people are going to say, well, Ferndale is the favorite. Ferndale's the favorite, to win that. Yeah. They have the coach. I mean, like, have the coach do it, but come on. There's a team up north on Oxford Road that I think is going to have a really, really huge say.
Do you call them the kitty cats usually?
No, I don't call them that.
Who is calling them the kitty cats?
I call them Oxford. Okay. I call them the Wildcats. You know what I mean? The reason why Oxford, I think the Wildcats are going to be I think the Wildcats are going to be very good. I really do. I mean, especially with who they got back. They got the Townsends. They got Michael Rage. You got Connor Nicholson. So when I look at Oxford, when Oxford plays Ferndale, I think, when you look at the matchups, I think Oxford does have some advantages, and just imagine if you're Ferndale having to go up to Oxford during the season.
Yeah.
That's difficult.
Especially if you've never played.
Well, especially if you're Juan Rickman, you've never
gone up there.
Ever have gone up north. I don't think, you've never gone up there. I mean, now Ferndale did go to Lake Orion last year.
Yeah.
But for Ferndale, this is going to be a whole different
Should we just
animal.
call it Old Village Prep North?
No. No.
It's just, it's when you thought progress was being made to clean up some of this stuff.
then
and maybe it is for 2020 or
2019, 2020,
whatever.
But
so that
to
means
me,
we got another year of this.
And that's bothersome to me because when you look at the situation as unfolded, basically, with these players coming in, now this opens up another question. You see coaches, you see players follow their coaches to different schools.
I never really see that at a high level on the high school side. But you can see a recruit following a coach, like on the college level. Let's say you recruited, you committed, the coach jumps ship to another program, and that player goes with them.
But for 4 players to go,
that's a lot.
That's a lot. And
how can you not say that's not academically, or athletically motivated?
That to me tells me something because.
And why wouldn't the MHSAA step in? I mean, something so obvious, at least in my opinion.
To me, it's and then of course to have one of the players do an interview on the D Zone, talking about the transfers and believing that they're going to win a state championship. Now, when I look at Ferndale's chances to win a Class B state championship,
academic state championship,
no,
because you're supposed to leave because there's a transfer because of academics.
But when I look at teams like Birmingham, Detroit Country Day, and New Haven in there, and I don't think Ferndale will match up with those two teams, especially Birmingham, Detroit Country Day.
No, I agree.
Because I know how good that team is. I know Mike Bray is a very good coach.
But you mentioning just that the student athlete did an interview and mentioned
the transfers that they had about 4.
And said, hey, we're going to go win a state title. I'm like, who's feeding them the lines?
Who's feeding them the lines?
Is it the coach, outgoing coach from English, Detroit
Rickman?
English Village?
I don't know.
Someone's feeding them a line saying, hey, we're going to win it. You come up here, we got these guys, boom, we're going to win it. I'm like, somebody's saying this stuff.
Or maybe it's somebody, or maybe it's somebody's inflated ego. You know what I mean? Could be.
But usually student athletes regurgitate what's told to them.
Yeah,
Wouldn't you agree?
Do I believe Ferndale's a state championship team right now?
No. But the 4 transfers were convinced that, hey, there's a chance, so let's go.
Well, here's the thing, though. I think New Haven's better. I think Birmingham Detroit Country Day is better.
Yeah.
Because New Haven, as long as Romeo Weems is there, they have a chance. For Detroit Country Day, they have a great stool of talent, led, of course, by Wendell Green Jr. and, of course, Julian Ropier, who I think are really, really good players. And I saw Birmingham Detroit Country Day.
Yeah.
They are a really, really good basketball team.
Okay.
I mean, they're going to be good. So Ferndale's going to have to work it out for
them. What we're going to have to do is we'll review the transfer rule.
We have to review
and take a peek at it because I think you're right. I think it is delayed. I mean, I thought we saw the end of this, but if it's delayed, you not this high profile. I mean,
no.
I know Ferndale's not the world beater of basketball,
but they're trying to make a comeback.
But OAA is not some small league, and people pay attention to what's going on.
Yeah,
and this isn't on the other side of the state or up in the UP or somewhere.
No, the OAA is one of the top conferences in the state of Michigan.
Yeah, and here you have this happen.
And then you have this
People are going to talk.
Oh, yeah, I agree. People are going to talk about
this. You think Clarkston's going to pitch a fit?
No.
You don't think so?
I think the OAA, when I look at Clarkston's division, the OAA Red, this year, I think the OAA Red's going to be the SEC
I
West.
say they would complain about the enforcement of the rules.
Well, if Clarkston, if this move is allowed, then I could see Clarkston complaining. I could see
completely because
they were
completely shut down.
You didn't let Thomas Kithier play.
Correct.
You didn't let and now you're going to let these 4 guys play. Then if I'm Clarkson and Jeff Cozen, I would have a problem with it. I would really have a problem with it.
If they didn't have a problem with it, I'd have a problem with that.
Mm-hmm. But when you look at the state of Clarkston now, you know what I mean?
I know, but I mean in the frame of the discussion we were having about transfers and things.
Right. And to me, I do agree with you. You know what I mean? I think if I'm Clarkston, and I'm seeing this happen, then I'm saying, why not?
It just reeks of, I'm not going to say hypocrisy, but selective enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we were talking about all those months ago. It's like, is there selective enforcement? MHSAA comes out with a statement saying, well, there's no selective enforcement. We enforce those, as they come forward, and we look into things as they're brought up, because they don't have, what they say, the enforcement staff to go around. So it's self-reporting in a way. But this is out there.
This is out there.
It's not some hidden thing. It's there, and you have comments saying, we're winning a state title. I just think, ooh, dude, just don't say that sort of thing.
Don't say that, because you're asking for trouble. Because
what kind of broadcasting program does Ferndale have? I mean, it goes back to Kithier's argument, which I did not agree with. We both did. We saw holes in it.
Right.
It was athletically motivated.
Yes.
But Clarkston got slammed.
Right.
I mean, big deal. They won the state title, but you had a player who can't play.
Right. But when you look at the others, you know what I mean? When you look at others, you know what I mean? You got to look at everybody's transcripts. You got to look at academics. You got to look at academics. And I asked myself this question: how is Ferndale academically compared to Detroit? How is it? That's the question.
Yeah.
I asked that question. Now I think Ferndale may be better academically than Detroit, but you have to look at the
and I'm not saying you can't go to other schools for academic reasons.
Right.
Everybody should pursue the best education they can for their kids, right?
Mm-hmm. But
there are rules in place.
But to me, this is more clearly, when you follow coach, this is clearly.
It doesn't look good.
It doesn't look good at all. It really doesn't. I mean, like, you look at, now I can understand others leaving, their respective areas to transfer to play, just to play. You know what I mean? When you look at, I'm going to use Zach Maynard, for example. He wasn't going to play a lot at Adams anyway, so because of the arrival of an incoming freshman in Gunnar Walters is going to be a very good player for Adams. And, he went to Birmingham Brother Rice, you know what I mean? For just an opportunity to play. So,
but Brother Rice is a private school, right? So that kind of, do the MHSAA rules apply to that sort of thing?
I think, going to a Catholic school, you know what I mean? The rules still apply.
Okay.
The rules still apply. But for him, it's just like a reboot for him, for his career, and then when I look at others, of course, they, of course, Novi, of course, we know about their situation. They, just lost one of their best players. He's going to Detroit Renaissance.
Okay.
Of course, but it's just, to me, is
the whole, it's getting ugly, dude.
The Ferndale, that thing over at Ferndale, that's getting ugly real quick.
The whole thing. I mean, you got high school kids transferring because they want to play, playing time. I mean, unless you're an elite athlete, you shouldn't be worried about playing time.
No, because playing time, you have to earn it. You
Correct.
have to earn your opportunity to play. You have to earn your opportunity. It cannot be given to you. You're not entitled to it. You can't be entitled.
Correct.
And that's something that really has bothered me. When it comes the word entitlement, you know what I mean? That saying, I'm the man.
We've been hearing that word more and more lately, don't you think?
Lately, yes, and it's bothered me. It really bothers me. But I want to get away from this transfer stuff. I want to talk about teams that I thought were very impressive in the summer leagues.
Okay.
As I mentioned earlier, the Oaa Red this year in basketball is going to be the SEC West.
Really?
Yep. When you look at the teams in that division,
bold statement.
The reason why I call it the SEC West is look at the teams that are in that division. Who I think are going to be very good.
Yeah.
Oak Park. You got Clarkston, West Bloomfield, Lake Orion, North Farmington, Bloomfield Hills.
Okay.
That's all in one division.
Loaded.
That's loaded. When you look at the teams in there.
But the OA Red, you look at all different sports. Those red divisions are loaded with talent.
Oh, yeah. They got talent. They're the ones that could make big time threats in the state championship to the state championship. Now, I'm not saying all the teams in that division can make a state championship run. Let's not forget, a couple of years ago in boys basketball, we had a team in the blue division.
Yeah.
Lake Orion went to the state quarterfinal.
Yeah.
They were in the blue. And then you look at And then, of course, you look at, I'm just saying a bold statement right now. The red division this year in boys basketball is going to be the modified version of the SEC West. That says a lot.
Bold statement, Mr. Sam.
That's going to say a lot. Now, I talked to some coaches about the about who they think's the best team in the white could be.
Yeah.
And people were asking me Adams. Because the reason why Adams is because they're young. They got an emerging shooter in Ethan Emerson, who's going to be a very good player for them.
Okay.
An incoming freshman, Gunnar Walters. Basically, you have
Gunnar. Now that is a sports name.
Well, remember, yes, Walters' son used to be an assistant coach for Detroit Pistons.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Walters' son.
Okay.
And now I'm not sure how that situation is now, because considering that Stan Gundy's no longer there. Now, what happens? Is
he going to be here long term?
Is he going to be here long term? That's the question. I mean, but Adams has a loaded team. I mean, when you look at that team, besides Emerson, besides Walters, you got Jake Schuler, who's going to be a very good big, and you got Peyton Prescorn. I mean, the only real question is Austin Yearsay healthy for them? And if he's healthy enough, I think that Adams could be a team worth mentioning this year. And they're in that white division, which could be a really interesting division, because considering you got themselves there, you got Farmington's there. Of course, Farmington's loaded when you look at Atkins, and when you look at what they got with Atkins and but Farmington and Adams could be a really, really interesting matchup in that white division. And then, of course, the blue we talked about, Ferndale. Ferndale, I saw them at the Summer League. I really wasn't impressed with them, even with the transfers they got.
Okay.
I really was not impressed. I saw Oxford.
Is that mainly their whole team playing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mainly their whole team there. I saw
even
Oxford.
The incoming freshman?
Yeah, with Adams, yes.
Okay.
With Oxford, I thought they looked really good. I thought Oxford looked really good. I like how they have there the talent they have there with Townsend, Raish, Nicholson. I mean, Coach Steve Laidlaw is going to have a loaded group this year. I really like that team. When you look at Clarkston, they're work in progress. They're slowly improving. By the second with their young nucleus there. Got Matt Nicholson there. They got Cole Donchez, Desmond Mills Bradley there. They got some really good, and then of course got Keegan Wasilic and Fletcher Lawyer.
Yeah,
the younger siblings of both Lawyer and Wasilic. There's another Wasilic on that team too. Lake Orion looked really. I thought Lake Orion, when motivated, looked really, really good.
Really.
And the people
even with the loss to their big shooter.
Even with the loss of Jamie Lewis, I think that, and that's why I'm saying Lake Orion will be a contender in this division.
Okay.
I think they will be, because when you have I think Nate Talbot's gotten much better. I think that watch out for a name that I think could really, really surprise folks. His name is Isaiah Harris.
Okay.
Of course, he transferred in from Orchard Lake St. Mary's. During the winter last year, so he had to sit out a semester.
Yep.
Now he is he's ready to go. But that's a name to watch out for if you're a Lake Orion fan. Is Isaiah Harris. I think he's going to be a really dynamic player. I think that he's going to I think that he's going to have a really good year. I really do. So that's a name to watch out for Lake Orion. Oak Park, I haven't seen them play, but I know how good they are. I watched them on film a couple times. West Bloomfield, they're looking really good with their athletes.
Okay. Always
Bloomfield Hills, they look good.
Athletic,
Bloomfield Hills has been looking good.
Okay.
North Farmington, I've seen them. They look good. They're getting better. Then of course, I haven't seen Southfield. Haven't seen
So for all the basketball fans out there, when does the season get rolling? That's
it
late
really
October,
starts rolling late October. Yes, we still got we still got football. You know what I mean? And I've laid off the football talk a little bit because we're getting really close to the season.
Yeah.
You know, but what excites me, you know, and I want to talk a little football, you know, because there was some news there that made some headlines.
Okay.
Of course, we talk about the college recruitments and all that, especially going on at West Bloomfield. But I want to talk about a very interesting story that I found out. It looks like Oak Park is going to be settling on one quarterback.
Okay.
And Oak Park, they had a transfer who transferred out of Oak Park. You know, Corey Graham. He transferred out to I believe it is Harper Woods. So for an opportunity to play because, you know, he wasn't going to play, you know, like, you know, he was splitting time with Dwan Mathis. Of course, Dwan Mathis, we just found out decommitted from Michigan State, going to Ohio State now. But Michigan State really rebounded. Got a couple big-time players in Trey Mosley, who's coming back, and DeAndre Dobbs at Belleville. So that's very interesting. Of course, Penn State added Lance Dixon from West Bloomfield. So when I look at the early indications for football, and people ask me, is it Oak Park? Is it West Bloomfield? Is it Groves? You know what I mean? So when I look at the early indications for football, everybody says to me, Oak Park's the team to beat.
Really?
And I said, well, I think Oak Park's a playoff team. There's no doubt. They got a ton of talent back. A senior-heavy team, very good junior class coming in.
Which is always helpful.
Oh, yes. But the question I have with Oak Park, and I'm going to ask this at the previous show to Greg Carter, to their coach and athletic director, is can this team get over the hump? That's the million-dollar question. If Oak Park can get over that hump, which is the regional final, because they should have won last year against UD Jesuit at Wayne State. They should have won that game. But if they can get over that hump, this team, in my opinion, is a state championship team.
Oh, boy.
I think Oak Park, personally, my opinion, they're a state championship team.
Bold statement there, Sam.
It wouldn't surprise me if they go to state final this year. It really wouldn't. People ask me, well, what about West Bloomfield? You know, what about, you know.
Do they have it in them again?
Do they have it in them again? I think they do. Question is, who's their quarterback? That's the million-dollar question because they just lost they lost Anthony Romps, who originally was their he transferred to Southfield. So Romps will be the starter at Southfield. But I think a guy like CJ Harris, I think is the guy that I'm keeping an eye on. I think for Ron Bellamy and his team, I think he's going to be a really good quarterback for them. Really, I think he'll be, and to put him with those weapons, they got the linemen to, I think West Bloomfield.
Plus, they were used to success last year, and now they want more.
I think West Bloomfield, to me, is I think they can make another run. I dare say this. I think West Bloomfield is a much better football team than Detroit Cass Tech. I dare say that. They beat them last year. And I think West Bloomfield is better than Detroit Cass Tech right now.
Wow.
I damn near say that. And I'm not being mean. You know? But when I look at that red division, you know what I mean? When you look at all the divisions, of course, you got in the blue, you got Avondale Ferndale, who could do some damage. And then, of course, you have white. You have, of course, it's Oak Park's to lose, but Groves will be right there with them. Maybe Harrison, you know, in their final year. And then
it'll be interesting how they
it'll be
close it out.
Yep. And then, of course, the red division, of course, I still think, you know, West Bloomfield got to be the favorite there. Adams could be a factor. Clarkston, I'm curious to see how they do.
Always a factor.
They'll always be a factor, even though they're the defending state champs, but they did lose a ton of talent, though. But teams that I think could really watch out for is Oxford and Lake Orion. Those are the two teams I think you got to watch out for.
Really? It was third year for Blackstock?
I think, you know, if I'm Lake Orion, you know what I mean, and you've really struggled since 2013.
Yeah.
You know.
It's been a while.
You know what I mean? I think offensively, this is a good football team. The question's going to be, how are they defensively? That's the million-dollar question for Lake Orion is, how will their defense perform? Now, yeah, they still got a tough schedule. There's no doubt about that. When you're playing against teams like Lapeer, open up the year. That's going to be a really brutal matchup for him.
Yes.
But
do they have a reliable receiving core?
That's going to be the question. Who's stepping up that receiving core?
Because that kind of was an Achilles last year.
And then, of course, who's that defense? Who's going to be in that defense that's going to step up, make plays on that defensive side of the football? That's the our question for Lake Orion. For Oxford, of course, the pound. There's a gleeping problem on defense. And I mean a gleeping problem on defense. I mean, ever since Oxford came in the OA, they have allowed over 200 points per.
Was it their, what season was, how did they do the first season in? I think they were a little shell-shocked.
Well, they really struggled, you know what I mean? They came in, then the year back.
Kind of leveled out. But
leveled out in 2011, of course, they had Prescott line, but their defense was still not great. But they give up a ton of points.
Yes.
That's going to be a question I'm going to ask Bud Riley, you know what I mean? I asked him that last year. How was your defense? You know what I mean? How was your defense? I mean, that's a question. But there is a lot of optimism because Oxford's got that really good sophomore class coming. That sophomore class is good. Legitimately good. I mean, and I think there is some hope around the horizon for Oxford. And I think Oxford, when you look at what their flaws are, you know what I mean? One flaw that they got to address is the quarterback spot. And I think they'll address it. I know Bud Riley, he'll address it.
Yeah.
So that's
think he'll air it out a little bit more?
That's a question. That's a question. Does Bud Riley have enough to trust in his air attack? Because normally he pounds the rock. Pound the rock. That's what Oxford's team always has been. Pound the rock, play physical football.
But it gets you, like you said, with the defensive issues, you can run into trouble if you need a comeback.
Right.
You got to start throwing the ball, and if you're not a balanced attack, you could run into some problems.
Yeah, and I think that's what's going to – and I think, for Oxford, but they're a team I'm keeping an eye on.
Okay.
Heading in the year. Another team I'm keeping an eye on is Seaholm. Because Seaholm got a lot coming back. They're in that blue division where I think they could seriously challenge Avondale and Ferndale, for the blue championship. That's the team I'm watching, is Seaholm. Because people ask me, how's Seaholm going to do? Will they be undefeated heading into Groves? And that's a question for Coach Jim DeWald is, they have not had a lot of success. And for me, if Ferndale can handle success, if Seaholm can handle success, who knows? Maybe they can give teams like Avondale and Ferndale problems. They could.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's the Farmington effect, the Farmington Falcons. I have a feeling that Farmington could be what Michigan State was in 2006. High expectations, but just
fall on your face.
That's been what they've been the last few years. And that's been a problem for me. That's a team that they got a lot back. They got a lot of optimism. But I've got some questions. I've got some questions. How's your quarterback situation going to be? How is your offensive situation going to be? So that's a question that I have.
Are you going to bounce around to any of these 7-on-7s and stuff to eyeball any of these teams? I mean, you saw some basketball.
I might
start taking some notes.
I might, but usually I don't grade 7-on-7 a lot. I really don't, because I like to see the finished product. I don't like to see skilled players going against skilled players. Yeah. I think to me that's nothing more than just pretend football. That's
it is
what I think it is.
Yeah, and it's just it's a summer.
It's a summer.
It's basically
thing,
a conditioning thing to get you back in the mind frame of football again.
But another team I'm high on, keep an eye on, is North Farmington. I love what Bob Chiasa's doing. Now, I've gotten into some debates with him about his team, but I think that he thinks his team's a year away. However, I think his team is even further than that. I think they can win 6 games. I mean, I look at that schedule that North has, and I'm saying to myself, why not 6?
What did they have last time?
They were 2-7 last year.
All right, so they rolled.
They were
0-9.
They were 0-9 last year. 2 years ago, before Chiesa came in there.
Okay.
0-9. So what does that say? What does that say? I mean, those are teams I'm keeping an eye on.
Okay.
I mean, Grove's another one I'm keeping an eye on because they got a ton of talent back.
Hey, share with everybody when the media day is, because a lot of people might not know that it's out there, right? I know you cover it every year with ONTV.
Mm-hmm.
And when is that coming up?
It's coming up on the 3rd of August. What I've been hearing, it's the 3rd of August. It's always a good event.
It is, absolutely.
It's a great event to cover. It's a great event to work.
Yep.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of great kids.
And you
there.
get a lot of good info, too. I mean, talking to the coaches or the ADs or whatever, the players, I think it's a good event, one, for the media to get to know the teams a little bit, but I think it's even better for the players to get them exposure
to get them exposure,
talking to the media and get them out there.
That's the thing. You know what I mean? And I think and when you work on the preview show and all that, you know what I mean? It gives you an idea of what it gives them. It gives more of an in-depth look at each of the teams. And I think that
and you'll be there for the entire coverage.
I will be there
right?
for the entire coverage, yes, all day. Get some interviews from coaches talking about their expectations heading in the season. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens.
And we'll have that out.
As
soon as we can. Usually it takes about, a week to put it together.
Mm-hmm.
That's that much information.
Yeah, and you got also, and there's a lot of work to it when you look at having to divide your teams into divisions. Basically, having to do the research and all that. It's not an easy.
But I mean, if it's coming up on August 3rd, that means football is right. What's the opening kickoff? What's the opening day?
First day is August 20. It's that August 26th weekend.
Wow.
So a lot of teams will be in Michigan. Either playing at Wayne State, playing at Michigan Stadium, or playing at their various other sites. So a lot of OA action.
Interesting games too. Some intriguing
really
matchups.
Week 1 games.
It's always kind of fun because you might see some West Side teams roll over
Clarkson
here.
taking on Granville. That'll be an interesting matchup. You got Oak Park. You got Eisenhower. That's another interesting matchup.
That should be good.
Southfield Davison will be a good one. I think, and of course, got Lake Orion Lapeer. That's a big one.
I'm interested in seeing
Oxford Romeo. That's a big one.
That should be good.
That'll be a good one.
That's a natural rivalry.
Well, Oxford Romeo's. Well, remember, last year at Michigan Stadium was not good. It was not good for Oxford. But we'll see what happens. Okay. Now my final thoughts. See what happens. Looking forward to coming up on the. Want to wish y'all a happy 4th of July here.
Yeah, Sammy, you too. Kent, happy 4th.
Yep.
Thank you.
We will see you all next week. Of course, Ian, you are out this week.
I am heading west with the kiddos. Yeah, Yellowstone is
calling. We'll see what happens. Keep an eye. We're keeping an eye on the situations at Groves, Avondale, and of course for their head coaching gigs and Bloomfield Hills for their volleyball gig.
Yeah.
So, Sammy tuning in here, signing off here. Take care. Happy 4th of July, everybody.
Thanks, Sam. Oaa Now is produced by Sammy Taramina. Thoughts on this show are his and his alone. If you'd like to do a podcast, give us a call at 248-393-1060. We'll see you next week. See ya.